In this video, I'll be discussing the key levels you should have on your radar for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. In my previous video, I discussed the importance of the 85K level, so I won't be going into too much detail on that specifically, but there are some lower time frame levels for Bitcoin that I want to have highlighted. So initially, on the daily time frame, because we have broken above the 85K level, for any and all bullish arguments, I'd like to see 85K continue to hold on the daily time frame. So it's great to have a higher time frame point of view, but we need to pinpoint an entry on lower time frames. So I'm now on the hourly time frame, and I'd like to look for some levels that jump out at me and that price is already reacting from. So as you guys know from all of my educational content within the Haven, I always like to look for breakdown points. So that's essentially a level that price hits, a high is set, and then a significant sell-off happens from that level. So the level that jumps out at me here is 86 point nearly 2K on Bitcoin. Let's look at the recent interactions with this level. So the breakdown point is here, of course. If we extend that to the right, we could see the recent price action. We have price stalling or price rejecting at the high, and then price breaking out from that level. So it was once a breakdown point. It is now a breakout point. If we look to even more recent price action, we could see price front running that level a little bit and then price bouncing perfectly from it earlier today, which is great. That's exactly what I want to see at a key level for Bitcoin. Now, it's always important to extend these areas of interest to the left because recent price action is great, but we want to see if there's any historical price action at this level. So I'm going to extend it to the left, and we can see a lot of chop at the level, which is great. I always like to look for that. We can see it's another breakdown point back from early March. It's a consolidation level. It's another breakout point in early March again. So based on the previous along with the recent interactions with this level, this is a great level and one that I'd like to keep on my radar. All right, so I have my higher time frame level. I now have a lower time frame level, but price has already bounced from that. So now I'm just looking for any more confluence I could add to this overall argument for Bitcoin. So I'm zooming out here. Maybe I can swap it to the H4 and see if any levels really jump out at me. This is another breakdown point here at 86.7K. So I'm going to highlight that breakdown point, extend it to the right, and see if there's any confluence at that level as well. I'm going to break it down to the hourly and look at the hourly interactions with the level. So that's perfect. That's an H1 breakdown point, H1 support and resistance flip from the breakdown point, consolidation period highs, extend it to the right. We can see another H1 breakdown point, which is great. So now I have two additional levels that can help me form arguments for Bitcoin going forward, which is wonderful. So the overall main argument I now have is as long as price is above 85.1K on the daily, I am going to remain bullish. For lower time frames and intraday trading, as long as this 86.2K level holds and continues to see a reaction, then I will remain bullish on intraday and lower time frame stuff, maybe if I'm scalping, something like that. So what's also interesting about this setup itself is price has swept the lows from Tuesday and had a really strong reaction from there, which is definitely notable. So price got the liquidity from there, bounced and reclaimed 86.7K, which is perfect. So overall, this is exactly what I'm looking for on Bitcoin and everything looks solid from my point of view. Now, in terms of a take profit or an area where price could see some resistance is going to be probably here at this 88.5K level. So we set the highs here at 88.5K, extended to the right, we wick into the level before selling off. Price is unable to tap the highs again before selling off. Now there's going to be untapped liquidity all above these highs. So what that means is if there's short positions somewhere from in here, their invalidation or their stop loss could be above the highs. So now that price is reclaiming some solid levels, you need to look for the liquidity at the next area of interest, which is going to be the highs at 88.5K. So a potential path Bitcoin could take is something like this. Okay, so something like that potentially, but the main area of interest on the move up is going to be 88.5K. So overall, Bitcoin looks solid. I think Bitcoin has shrugged off the more tariff headlines that we saw today, which is a positive for the Bitcoin price action. All right, let's move on to Ethereum now. I'm on the H4 chart. The H4 chart really has been trading very cleanly. We have some very obvious support and resistance flips, which is really all you can ask for. Unfortunately, Ethereum has been memed for the last several years. The price action compared to Bitcoin in terms of their total gain has been despicable, if you will, but we're just here to focus on price action. I don't really care about the underlying asset. I'm just looking to trade moves and have an argument for price action. That's really all I care about. So the main level to hold and for the overall bullish argument for Ethereum is going to be 1950. And that's just based on this H4 support and resistance flip. Very clean H4 level. There's not really much to look into too deeply. Price rejected from it several times before eventually breaking out. After the breakout, price has retested that level, which is just perfect. Just a great support and resistance flip. Exactly what you want to look for. So as long as this level continues to hold, I will remain bullish on Ethereum. It took price 1, 2, 3, if you want to highlight this as an attempt as well, 4, 5 attempts to actually break this 1950 level. So the general rule of thumb there is because it took a good amount of attempts to break through the level, if and when price were to retest that level, it's going to be an equally as strong support level. Okay, so price has retested it twice now and had some solid reactions from that level. So I would like to see that remain a strong level. Now, in terms of an actual trade argument for Ethereum, yes, price is above the 1950 level, which is great, but unfortunately price is pinned below an equally as important H4 level. Maybe not an equally as important, but an equally as key H4 level as a 1950 level. So in this situation where price is really close to another key level, I'd just rather wait for the reclaim of the level before I enter into the position itself. So for something like this, I would wait for an H4 close above 2020 with an invalidation point below the low before the reclaim. So let's just say, as an example, it would be something like this. Now I'll look for my take profit, and the take profit that's just automatically jumping out at me, and the next level of interest, if and when price does break out, is going to be this breakdown point. Again, I have a ton of educational content on this topic itself. You can find that content in the link in the description below. If we don't get that reclaim and then price retest that 1950 level, I'd look to long somewhere close to that 1950 level. The invalidation would be somewhere below here with a take profit of somewhere at the next H4 level. So I'm really treating it almost like a range. So that's pretty much my thoughts on Ethereum. Honestly, the price action is really clean and probably much cleaner than Bitcoin. So this is definitely going to be on my radar to buy the dips, and we'll see where it goes in the coming week. So for Sol, it's another one that has a really clean price action on the daily time frame. For any and all bullish arguments on Sol, I would love to see 127.35 hold on the daily time frame. So as long as price is above that, I will have only bullish arguments for Solana. And you could just see all the interactions with this level on the daily chart. I mean, it's just a very, very important daily chart going back to March of last year. Next, a really obvious level that I'd like to highlight is 135.86. So as you can see, just the daily interactions at this level. If we extend to the left, we have wicks as well as some chopping at the level there. So really another solid level on Solana. Price has broken the overall daily consolidation period, which is great. Price is now retesting that daily consolidation period high here, which is definitely notable. And also we could see how price on lower time frames interacted with the daily level. On lower time frame, you could see how difficult it really was for price to break through that level. So that checks out with my overall bullish argument. Price is now retesting this level from above. We are getting a solid reaction from the level, which is great. In terms of an invalidation point, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So something that I look for, I have a video dedicated to this setup, is an H1 consolidation period. So now we've had some consolidation on the H1, which is great, but what's really great with the H1 consolidation period is it helps pinpoint a better invalidation point. Let's say I were to enter right here on Solana. What would my invalidation be? I guess it could be a manual invalidation below the daily level, but that's not one that I prefer. The manual stop losses could be catastrophic if there's a massive red candle. So I like to have the invalidation points set. So let's say I entered right here. My invalidation point, I really have nothing to work with in terms of recent price action. I would have to use something like below 132, so below the low before the reclaim of the level. So it would be something like that, which is fine, but it's not great. I like to have a more dialed in invalidation point. So the hope here is we get some continued H1 consolidation. Price breaks on the hourly time frame above the H1 consolidation period high. I enter into the position above or on that break. My invalidation point then is below the low before the breakout of the consolidation period. And then take profit one would be something like the local highs. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at for Solana. I think Solana looks great. I think the next daily candle or the current daily candle and then tomorrow's daily candle is going to be very, very important. As long as price is above this 136 level on the daily and continues to close above on the daily, I remain bullish on Solana. In terms of a more higher time frame target for Solana, the intraday target I would say for my long position that I'd be looking for is around 143s, 146, something like that. But a level to be aware of on the daily time frame is going to be 160. You can see the breakdown point here. Price then bounced from our other daily level at 127.35, bounced directly to our next daily level, unable to break it, reject it again, unable to break it. Price finally breaks through, flips the level into support, several taps into the level before really blasting off. So this is going to be a key level going forward as well, 160.67, and it's definitely one I'm going to keep on my radar and look to take profit on some long positions if and when I do enter into something. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any further questions, comments, anything like that, please feel free to ask, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.